How a narcissist is made based on the concept of smell. In their very early, vulnerable state, the child was exposed to someone showing weakness. Weakness is when someone does not face their own shame, but instead is disconnected from their conscience. This means that person is disconnected from reality. The way we escape feelings of shame or from reality is by smelling. This is not an abstract concept, it is a concrete part of our physiology. It is observable and reproducible in every human being. One simple example of this is laughter. Laughter is a specific way of smelling. Notice the change in breathing that it requires. Laughter always makes us feel better because it disconnects us from feelings of shame. There is nothing good about laughter. It's not the best medicine. It's showing weakness. Have you ever been laughed at? That is someone using you or objectifying you to feel better or to escape their own feelings of shame. Smelling is what keeps us disconnected from reality, the consequence of which is a state of being not calm inside. Our conscience is continually attempting to bring reality into our awareness. Our fight to avoid this is our internal battle or struggle. Laughing might make someone feel better or feel happy, yet it's not feeling better or happiness that humans seek. It's the absence of dysfunction, which is experienced as being at peace inside, that humans seek. The more someone is smelling, the further disconnected from feeling shame they are, the less calm they are internally, the greater their internal struggle, the less able they will be to connect with others, the less able they are to feel human feelings, and the worse their effect will be on others. Our toxicity can be measured by the manner in which we are smelling, and worse yet, hiding it. Please see my earlier videos. We cannot hide who we are, we can only attempt to disguise it. When a child is exposed to a person showing weakness or not facing their shame, it will create abnormal feelings, not painful feelings, abnormal, unexpected feelings. These feelings are what are commonly referred to as toxic shame. Caregivers are supposed to be selfless. Their presence is solely for the child, since they are extensions of the child. That is why babies see them that way. They are the part of them that retained the connection to reality. Babies are not born in reality. They will not be ready for it until their brains develop further. Caregivers weren't needed when our ancestors were simple life forms, but through adaptation, our development has become more complex. Our emotional development is now dependent on a caregiver. When the caregiver is not emotionally developed themselves due to their lack of vulnerability, they will see everyone, including their child, as objects. These feelings of toxic shame are the appropriate interpretation of this abnormal experience. There are no objects. These feelings will be confusing and destructive. The basis of our mental health is trust, because trust is the opposite of a defense mechanism. Our dysfunction, whether narcissistic, antisocial, avoidant, or codependent, is a cluster of defense mechanisms designed to protect ourselves from feeling shame. Defense mechanisms are emotional self-protection. They are the expression of weakness and the absence of vulnerability. Our defenses are our justification not to feel shame, to live outside of our conscience. We should be vulnerable. That is the only way to experience human feelings. The child, if not shown how to face this toxic shame, will have no choice but to escape it. Learning how to face their shame is modeled by the caregiver. As we can see, if the caregiver is not facing their own shame, showing weakness, they will not be able to teach to the child to face their feelings. They will instead teach them how to run from them. Escaping their feelings is accomplished through defense mechanisms. Defense mechanisms cause us to react to our feelings. That is how we escape them, by reacting. These defenses are expressed outwardly as smelling or a lack of calmness. These reactions from the caregiver are what create these abnormal feelings in the child and cause them to create these defense mechanisms, reactions that allowed the caregiver to escape their own feelings of shame. This is how shame gets passed on through the generations. This is objectifying the child, treating them as an object in order to make themselves feel better. This is what abuse is. Feeling better is achieved by escaping shame. In the case of a narcissistic caregiver, both the scapegoat and the golden child are objectified, as is everyone else. They are not seen as human beings, but as objects to serve a purpose for their caregiver. A caregiver is supposed to be selfless, having no emotional needs of their own. A narcissist is created by being exposed to caregivers or others who are not facing their own shame, who are not at peace inside. They were smelling, seeing the child as an object, avoiding their own shame, showing weakness, ensuring the child could not trust them. Either they were shamed, neglected, abused, or spoiled, worshipped, and put on a pedestal. In any case, their presence served their caregiver's needs instead of the other way around. This caused unmanageable feelings, which triggered the formation of defense mechanisms to shield them from their feelings. Their caregiver needed to earn their trust. Instead, due to their caregiver's smelling and concomitant seeing them as an object, trust was lost. They could never let go of their self-protection and be vulnerable to their feelings. The narcissist will be defense mechanisms, preventing them from feeling those feelings of shame ever again. In the process, being forced to give up the possibility of ever having positive feelings. This will be observed by the way they are smelling, and the shame and dysfunction will be passed on to the next generation. The only way a narcissist can stop being a narcissist is for someone to earn their trust, to give them a reason to be vulnerable, so their defenses disintegrate and they stop smelling and start facing their shame. It is no different for anyone else. Learn more